Chapter 7. And the Lord said unto Moses, See, I have set you in God's stead to Pharaoh, and Aaron your brother shall be your prophet. And you shall speak all that I command you, and Aaron your brother shall speak unto Pharaoh, that he let the children of Israel go out of his land. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt. But Pharaoh will not hearken unto you. And I will lay my hand upon Egypt, and bring forth my host, my people, the children of Israel, out of the land of Egypt, by great judgments. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, when I stretch forth my hand upon Egypt, and bring out the children of Israel from among them. And Moses and Aaron did so, as the Lord commanded them, so did they. And Moses was 80 years old, and Aaron 83 years old, when they spoke unto Pharaoh. And the Lord spoke unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, When Pharaoh shall speak unto you, saying, Show a wonder for you, then you shalt say unto Aaron, Take your rod, and cast it down before Pharaoh, that it become a serpent. And Moses and Aaron went unto Pharaoh, and they did so, as the Lord had commanded. And Aaron cast down his rod before Pharaoh and before his servants, and it became a serpent. Then Pharaoh also called for the wise men and the sorcerers, and they also, the magicians of Egypt, did in like manner with secret arts, for they cast down every man his rod, and they became serpents. But Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods. And Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had spoken. And the Lord said unto Moses, Pharaoh's heart is stubborn, he refuses to let the people go. Get you up unto Pharaoh in the morning. Lo, he goes out unto the water, and you shall stand by the river's brink to meet him. And the rod, which was turned to a serpent, shall you take in your hand. And you shall say unto him, The Lord, the God of the Hebrews, hath sent me unto you, saying, Let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. And behold, hitherto you have not hearkened. Thus saith the Lord, In this you shall know that I am the Lord. Behold, I will smite with the rod that is in my hand upon the waters which are in the river, and they shall be turned to blood. And the fish that are in the river shall die, and the river shall become foul, and the Egyptians shall loathe to drink the water from the river. And the Lord said unto Moses, Say unto Aaron, Take your rod, and stretch out your hand over the waters of Egypt, over their rivers, over their streams, and over their pools, and over their ponds of water, that they may become blood. And there shall be blood throughout all the land of Egypt, both in vessels of wood and in vessels of stone. And Moses and Aaron did so. So the Lord commanded. He lifted up the rod, and smote the waters that were in the river, in the sight of Pharaoh, and in the sight of his servants, and all the waters that were in the river were turned to blood. And the fish that were in the river died, and the river became foul, and the Egyptians could not drink water from the river, and the blood was throughout all the land of Egypt. And the magicians of Egypt did in like manner with their secret arts, and Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had spoken. And Pharaoh turned and went into his house, neither did he lay even this to heart. And all the Egyptians digged round about the river for water to drink, for they could not drink of the water of the river. And 7 days were fulfilled. After that the Lord had smitten the river. And the Lord spoke unto Moses, Go in unto Pharaoh, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Let my people go, that they may serve me. And if you refuse to let them go, behold, I will smite all your borders with frogs, and the river shall swarm with frogs, which shall go up and come into your house, and into your bedchamber, and upon your bed, and into the house of your servants, and upon your people, and into your ovens, and into your kneading troughs. And the frogs shall come up both upon you, and upon your people, and upon your servants. All right, let's go up to verse 1. We are once again continuing from the last chapter, and Moses had made a plea to the Lord, and the Lord had exposed himself, had made known his name, his holy name, as the one that exists. He is the powers of creation themselves. He is the difference. He is where right and wrong's divided, you might say. It's what's right and what's correct in life. It doesn't matter. Sometimes people think, they know what's right, they know what's correct. We'll find out. We're all just practicing here. We're trying to figure it out, learn for ourselves the best way. Until now, it is more than obvious that nobody has ever found it. We were in the last chapter. Moses had made his plea before the Lord, and he had spoke to Pharaoh asking that the children be let go, and Pharaoh wasn't going to listen. The Lord had told Pharaoh he wasn't going to listen, and Moses had told the Lord he wasn't a great speaker. He wasn't nobody that speaks in an educated fashion, that he could go before the Pharaoh, who is the great king of Egypt. He represents the powers of all the authority of the world at that time, and in that perspective, even because that is the place of graves, or even that place where death exists. But now we find that the Lord is given him Aaron. Aaron's a pretty good speaker. He has the ability, I would assume, to speak before these royalties in a manner they could understand or have some respect for. Moses has made the statement that he has uncircumcised lips, and that's just what that means. We're picking it up here in verse 1. And the Lord said unto Moses, See, I have set you in God's stead to Pharaoh, and Aaron your brother shall be your prophet. So the Lord has said to Moses now, that's Hashem, that's the name, the presence of the Lord himself, the existing one. See, I have set you in God's stead to Pharaoh. See, in other words, this is the way it's going to be. This is how it is. You see this, look at this, this is what I expect. I have set you in God's stead. This word here is Elohim, instead of God to Pharaoh. Elohim here, we'll find out, is going to be the mighty one of strength. Elohim is a one who has the strength or has these abilities of Hashem, which Hashem, we'll see, has blessed him. The Lord himself has blessed him with. And this is his perspective unto Pharaoh. Pharaoh's the great house. He represents all the authority that man could ever attain to, you might say, even at that time. And Aaron, your brother, shall be your prophet. A prophet is a speaker, somebody who speaks for or repeats the words of their instructor. Aaron and Moses is going to be like God, and Aaron's going to be like the prophet of God. And in that perspective, when they go to Pharaoh's house, that's that great house, they will go in that perspective according to the Lord. The Lord said, see, and that's the perspective we have to see it in, too. You shall speak all that I command you, and Aaron your brother shall speak unto Pharaoh, that he let the children of Israel go out of his land. You, speaking to Moses, the one that's drawn out, shall speak all that I command you. You'll say what I tell you to say. That's what the Lord told him. And Aaron, that's the light bringer, your brother, the one of the same understanding. We'll find out they had one mother, one father, shall speak unto Pharaoh. He'll be the one that goes to Pharaoh to speak, just like the prophet would do, as the Lord commands to the prophet. He would go to the Pharaoh, or to the king of Egypt, that place of graves, that and tell him that he let the children of Israel go out of his land. So the Lord's going to tell Moses what to say. Moses going to tell Aaron what to say, and Aaron going to go tell the Pharaoh. And that's what they're going to tell the Pharaoh, to let the children of Israel go out of his land. And that his land is that place, land's a place where, and he's set in his authority over it. We'll find the Lord did it himself. But he's going to be instructed to let the children of Israel go. Israel, those children of Israel, all those that come forth from Israel, the one that contends with the mighty one, and man as well. 3, and here we'll see his contention with the king. 3, and I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart. Because the Lord controls the hearts of everybody. He's in control of everything. To harden Pharaoh's heart is going to make him a little stubborn, a little hard-headed, a little stiff-necked, he don't want to listen. He think, well, when you're on top, you think you're it. And we'll find out there's a lesson to be learned. Everything that goes up comes down, and it's better just to stay down here. But Pharaoh, that great house, going to get his heart hardened up. He ain't going to want to listen. And the Lord going to multiply his signs and his wonders in the land, in that place of Egypt, even that place of graves. That's where the dead are for. But Pharaoh will not hearken unto you, and I will lay my hand upon Egypt, and bring forth my host, my people, the children of Israel, out of the land of Egypt, by great judgments. But Pharaoh, he will not hearken unto you. He's not going to listen. No, the Lord's hardened his heart. Got a little lesson to learn, see. That's why he's so stubborn. Got a great lesson to learn. And the Lord's just going to make it where he's not going to listen. But it's for a purpose, see. And so the Lord can lay his work upon Egypt, that place of the graves, and bring forth his hosts. That's all his armies. That's his multitudes. That's his people. My people. The children of Israel. These ones that come forth from Israel, even that one, who contends with the mighty one, who wrestles with the adversities of life, and he wrestles with man as well, out of the land of Egypt, that place of graves, by great judgments, and we'll see. Learning the law every step of the way. 5, and the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, when I stretch forth my hand upon Egypt and bring out the children of Israel from among them. And the Egyptians shall know. The children of Israel already knew who the Lord was. But now the Egyptians going to find out, and I believe that's really the whole game plan here. Everybody's supposed to know who Hashem is. That I am the Lord, he said. That way you know who he is. And everybody in the place of graves, that's that place where death is. When he stretches forth his hand upon Egypt, that place of graves, and brings out the children of Israel from among them, that's how you know. And we'll find out the Lord, they had been scattered out. We had that reference in when they caused them to have to get their own straw and all that, dig for their own stubble. All the children were scattered out throughout all of Egypt. We have from the beginning, even the end of things, and this is where we find ourselves even, sometimes. And it's just a matter of turning. 6. Moses and Aaron did so as the Lord commanded them. So did they. So Moses and Aaron going to do what the Lord tells them, as expected. That one that comes forth, or that one that's drawn forth even, and the light bringer. They're going to do what Hashem says. That's the best way to do it. That was been the proper response to the serpent in the garden, and that's what we want to get back to, that first lesson. What God say. 7. Moses was 80 years old, and Aaron 83 years old, when they spoke unto Pharaoh. Now Moses, he was 80 years old. 80 That's 4:20s. Score is 20. We can look at it that way, because that'd be the work of God is redemption and the greater understandings, even of old. That's where we got back to how we got back to the garden in the first place. But it's 80. 8 10s is the way it would really be written. And there was a new beginning in the law, even in those greater understandings from old, because that was the only law there was in the beginning. And that's really come from out of the Lord spoke everything. And Aaron, 83 years old. Aaron was the light bringer, that which come off the light. The light's the fire. That was the judgment come from the violation of the first law, even the new beginning in the law. And 3 years old would be these three, is to complete it, the greater understandings of old, even to make them stronger when they spoke unto Pharaoh. And these words go out to the great house, because, see, the Lord, he loves to make examples. 8. And the Lord spoke unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, 9. When Pharaoh shall speak unto you, saying, show a wonder for you, then you shall say unto Aaron, take your rod and cast it down before Pharaoh, that it become a serpent. So when Pharaoh shall speak unto you, saying, show a wonder for you, then you shall say, oh, Pharaoh wants to see a wonder. Why, that's his understanding, his comprehension. He doesn't know any other way to look at it other than that. And he says, show me something. Give me a little sign that there's a God, that you have a God. And you shall say unto Aaron, that's the light bringer, take your rod. That was that staff that was in his hand. A staff is something you can use for many purposes. It's used as seen as a form of a discipline, a form of a assurance, something you can lean on, something you can use for not only for protection, to guide the sheep. They were herdsmen, and cast it down before Pharaoh. Cast it down before Pharaoh, throw it out in front of him, and then it become a serpent. We'll find out, just like a serpent having that ability to bite. This rod is going to represent the law and even an authority of it, in a sense. And that it become a serpent, has that ability to bite. We'll find when you violate it. 10. And Moses and Aaron went in unto Pharaoh, and they did so, as the Lord had commanded. And Aaron cast down his rod before Pharaoh and before his servants, and it became a serpent. So Moses and Aaron will go in before the Pharaoh, and they did so. Just like they said, Pharaoh wanted to see some, so Moses and Aaron give him a little show, and we'll find the story later. These vipers that have the ability to bite. And he cast down his rod, just like he said. It became a servant right in front of the Pharaoh and everybody else. 11. The Pharaoh also called for the wise men and the sorcerers, and they also, the magicians of Egypt, did in like manner with the secret arts. Then Pharaoh called the wise men, all these ones that got the great understanding, these sorcerers, practicers of the arts of divination and magic and all manner of knowledge and understanding could be used over on somebody. These ones of Egypt, that's the place of graves. It's where the death is. They do the same thing, so they're able to produce these serpents as well. We remember that it's the law and the ordinances in representation of it. 12. For they cast down every man his rod, and they became serpents. But Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods. They cast down every man his rod as well. That staff, that strength, that would represent that ability to rule or have some kind of authority over, to guide, shepherd along. And they became serpents as well, these before men. But Aaron's rods swallowed up their rods. Why, that's where it all come from, my friend. All the law is based around that beginning law. 13. And Pharaoh's heart was hard, and he hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had spoken. But Pharaoh's heart was hardened. God said he was going to do it. There's a good sign right there. He's not listening. Pharaoh's heart that's that inner man. He really don't care. It don't mean nothing to him. He don't understand anything. And he hearkened not unto them, just like the Lord had spoken. We'll find out the Lord's in control of everything. Hashem is always in control of everything. Try to teach somebody a lesson. The Aleph, I am your teacher. 14. And the Lord said unto Moses. So Hashem's going to speak once again to the one that's drawn out. Pharaoh's heart is stubborn. He refuses to let the people go. Pharaoh's heart, the king's heart, that's who he represents, this authority over man. His understanding is stubborn. It don't want to move, don't want to bend. It don't want to flex and have compassion. He refuses to let the people go. He don't want to let them go. One reason, he sees them as property. 15. Get you unto Pharaoh in the morning. Lo, he goes out into the water, and you shall stand by the river's brink to meet him, and the rod which was turned to a serpent shall you take in your hand. Get you unto Pharaoh in the morning. Get up early, as always. Go unto the Pharaoh, that's that great house, and lo, he goes out into the water to get to his understanding just like everybody else does. And you shall stand by the river's brink to meet him. And there, where the understanding, the river is where the water flows. It's where the understanding descends through. At that brink, by the bank thereof, where people come, you might say, to stand by the river to meet him. So Moses is going to go out to meet the Pharaoh in the morning. And that rod, which was turned to a serpent, that's that same staff. We'll see it has that ability of the rule. That all in every understanding we find out, it's for support. It's to guide with ease and pleasure, to protect, and we'll find out, and to the one who being protected from, it's like a serpent and has that ability to bite it. Take it in your hand, take it in your works. 16. And you shall say unto him, the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, has sent me unto you, saying, let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. And, behold, hitherto you have not hearkened. So he goes out to meet him in the morning by the river, and he says unto him, now the Lord, Hashem, the God of the Hebrews, this Elohim, the powers of the creation itself of the Hebrews, that's those that come from beyond, a little bit beyond the understanding of the king here, the Pharaoh. That's who he represents, this authority over the flesh, and that place, that's what's going to die in this place of the graves. He sent me unto you, saying, let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. Let my people go once again, that they may serve me in the wilderness. That's that place where the words drive out, where the Lord, your understanding, flows in from Hashem, and it drives out all these understandings that men have tried to put in there. And until now, you just haven't listened. 17. Thus saith the Lord, in this you shall know that I am the Lord. Behold, I will smite with the rod that is in my hand upon the waters which are in the river, and they shall be turned to blood. And thus saith the Lord. That's Hashem. In this you shall know that I am the Lord. Who the Lord is, you shall know this, that you will know who Hashem is. Behold, I will smite with the rod. That's that staff, and it stands for the law that is in my hand and my works upon the waters. That's the understanding which are in the river. That's how the waters descending, coming down. They shall be turned to blood. To be turned to blood is made defiled. the Lord's commandment, he shall not take of the blood. The blood is the life thereof, or that's what giveth the life in the first place, or made was when the Lord had mercy, and upon the flesh in the first place, and made it flesh. It was out of mercy in the first place. 18, and the fish that are in the river shall die, and the river shall become foul, and the Egyptians shall loathe to drink water from the river. And the fish represents the life in the sea. The multitudes of all the lives in the sea, because there's a multitude of understandings, my friend, in the world. And all these that are in the river shall die. All those fish, all those other understandings, especially those understandings of men that descend, they shall die, be cut off. The river shall become foul. It'll be made to stink. And the Egyptians, that's those of the gray, shall loathe to drink the water, because they don't want none of it. It's foul. It's made blood. We'll find out. All that water from the river, even all that understanding, from that place where the understanding flows. 19, and the Lord said unto Moses, say unto Aaron, take your rod, and stretch out your hand over the waters of Egypt, over the rivers, over their streams, over their pools, and over all the ponds of the water, that they may become blood. And there shall be blood throughout all the land of Egypt, both in vessels of wood and vessels of stone. And the Lord said, now once again he says unto Moses, that one that's drawn out, the Lord, Hashem, powers of creation, presence of him himself, say unto Aaron, that's the light bringer, your brother, the one similar understanding, take your rod, that rod represents that authority, that law, and stretch it out, and stretch out your hand over the waters, over all the works, over the waters. Stretch your works out over all those understandings of Egypt, that place of graves, and we'll find out what their understandings were, what their understandings were, that they thought they could go make some kind of deal with an image carved on the wall. Over the rivers, that's their understandings that descend, over their streams, these little waterways that trickle in, and over their pools, where they pond up, that's their drinking places where they would get their water from. Over their ponds, that's the ponds of waters where they stop up the streams to let them gather. These ponds of water, pools of water, all their understandings, all together, you might say, that they may become blood, may be defiled, by sin, and there's shall be blood throughout all the land of Egypt. And there shall be blood. There shall be sin. That's what blood represents. That's that mercy the Lord gave you in the beginning. That's what the blood represented. It had that in it throughout all the land of Egypt. That's that place of graves, both in vessels of wood and vessels of stone. These vessels of wood, the word here is etz. Etz is a tree. It means wood. It's something you can use. It could be hewed down. It could be chopped up, carved up. It comes from the word asah, and that means to make firm, or to something you can fix it to, or kind of to close the eyes or shut up. These vessels that maybe can be vessels, something that contains, and that's going to be that which contains, that which can be hewed down, carved up. These broke out and spread out through the multitudes, you might say. It's used to support it, to kind of give it a little firmness. And the stones, is the word is banah. It's used to build. And that's what it is basically it's a work, a building of these understandings, the building up of them. And that's what these vessels represent, that of common and that of a greater stature, you might say. 20. And Moses and Aaron did so as the Lord commanded, and he lifted up the rod and smote the waters that were in the river, in the sight of Pharaoh and in the sight of his servants, and all the waters that were in the river were turned to blood. And Moses, that one drawn out, Aaron, the light bringer, did so as the Lord commanded, just like Hashem says. And he lifted up the rod. That's that rule, that's that law, that's that authority that guides those gently that are under it, but those that are not, it's not so gentle. And he smote the waters. That's those understandings that were in the river that descended right in front of Pharaoh. That's the great house. And in the sight of the servants, so that they could see it as well, all those that served to Pharaoh, all the waters that were in the river were turned to blood. And all those understandings that was in that place of Egypt, we'll find out, were turned to sin. All their understandings were made defiled. They were worthless, no good to them. 21. And the fish that were in the river died, and the river became foul. And the Egyptians could not drink water from the river. The blood was throughout all the land of Egypt. And the fish that were in the river died. And all that life, all that was living in that waters, those understandings, they had found life there and happiness. They die. And that river, those understandings that descended became foul. And the Egyptians could not drink. They couldn't. It was a place of grace. They couldn't take that water no more from that river. Those understandings that was coming. And that blood was throughout all the land of Egypt. And that blood, that defilement, that sin was throughout all the land of Egypt, throughout all that place of the graves. That's where death is. 22. And the magicians of Egypt did like manner with their secret arts. Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had spoken. And we'll find out the magicians of Egypt did like manner with their secret arts. Of course, not without the aid of Hashem. We'll know that right off the bat. There are no magic men. Not in the place of graves. There are illusions. They did like manner with their secret arts. That's their practices, these secret arts. They think they got some kind of secret. Secret's out. There ain't one. Pharaoh's heart was hardened. Right? Pharaoh, they convinced Pharaoh, he's the Molech of Egypt, the king, in the place of graves. His heart was hardened. We'll find out. Lord's still working on him. Lord's still working on him. He hearkened not to them. He didn't listen. Just like the Lord said. 23. And Moses and Aaron knew that. They already knew there's an uphill fight with this guy. 23. And Pharaoh turned and went unto his house. Neither did he lay even this to heart. Pharaoh turned and went home. He didn't even lay it to heart. He never thought about it again. None. Another day wear and tear in the land of Egypt. 24. And all the Egyptians digged round about the river for water to drink, for they could not drink of the water of the river. And all the Egyptians, that's everybody that lived in the place of graves, had to dig around about the river for water to drink. Had to dig holes all around the river. They let the water seeping through the earth. That's seeping through the flesh, get down in them holes. Get your water out of there to drink. That's the moisture. Give you a little bit of understanding, for they could not drink that water out of the river. It was putrid. 25. 7 days were filled after that. The Lord had smitten the river. 7 days. That would be to finish the understanding. Complete them, kind of top them off. That would be fulfilled, see, after Hashem had smitten that river with those understandings that descend. Well, if you're following along King James Version, this will be where that chapter would end. You would have to go to chapter 8. About 4 verses will be in this script here. 26. And the Lord spoke unto Moses, Go in unto Pharaoh, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Let my people go, that they serve me. And the Lord spoke unto Moses again. Once again, Hashem speaks unto the one that's drawn out. He says, Go in unto Pharaoh, that great house. Say unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Let my people go, that they may serve me. And thus saith the Lord, thus says Hashem, the powers of creation and the presence of it itself. Let my people go. My people, those ones that contend with the mighty one, Israel, that they may serve me. They may serve me. I will be their master. I will be their teacher. And I will guide them. We'll find out the Lord wants to be your shepherd. 27. And if you refuse to let them go, behold, I will smite all the borders with frogs. And if you refuse to let them go, if you won't do this, behold, watch and see, I will smite all your borders with frogs. Frogs, Sephardia. The frog is a swamp jumper. It's kind of like that's what it means. This one that jumps around in the swamp, and it comes from the word sephar. Sephar is this one that skips about. This one that jumps around. That like returns or departs early. He's jumping around. He really doesn't know what he's doing. Catching flies, as we used to say. But the Lord's going to smite your borders with them. That's all your edges, all around you, everywhere, all around you is what this means with these frogs, with these ones that return, these ones that are going to jump about. From one understanding to another, we'll find out of every understanding they'll come forth. 28, and the river shall swarm with frogs, which shall go up and come into your house, and into your bedchamber, and upon your bed, and into your house of your servants, and upon your people, and into your ovens, and into your kneading troughs. And the river, those understandings once again that descend, the Lord loves to use those. That's where it all comes from. He shall swarm with frogs, and these ones that jump about, these ones that are going and coming constantly swarming with them. There's doubt, no understanding, all jumping around like don't know where to go. Which shall go up and come into your house, but they'll go up and they'll come into your house, right into your own dwelling shall they be. That's the place where you abide, speaking to the Pharaoh, and into your bedchamber. That's the place you go into to lay down, to rest yourself, and upon your bed. That's the place where you lie, you rest there. You think that's where you got it made. That's the place you make for yourself in life. See, that's the bed you make. It's going to fill it with some frogs. That's what you're making for yourself. Trouble. These ones that jump about, you got no understanding. You're giving nobody no understanding to go on. They got to go out and learn for themselves. Always facing adversity, holding it back. And into the house of your servants, that's those that serve you. That's those that serve you. Those, they don't get no understanding. They got no knowledge. But those that serve Hashem, they have understanding even of this. And upon your people, that's your people, those that you try to control, that portion of them, it's who the Lord gives control. But the others, they don't belong to you. We'll find out in the end. And into your ovens, that's the places that you make hot. That's the places that you make hot. And into the kneading troughs, those that place where you prepare the bread, that's going to nourish their flesh. That's the frogs will be jumping out of there as well. 29, and the frogs shall come up both upon you, upon your people, and upon all your servants. And the frogs, they're going to come upon you. Yeah, you're not immune from it. See, speak it to the Pharaoh. That's the great house. That's those that are in charge. Nobody's immune. Nobody's immune. Everybody will find out they don't have no understanding, jumping around. That's upon your people. That's because that's the society you breed for yourselves. Upon all your servants, they knows that do your handiwork. They don't know any better either. Let's move forward. Exodus chapter 8. Turn and return.